So Neil, I had a I had my OpenClaw audit our podcast, and
Okay.
then I used the YouTube API and the X API. You know what it did? So now we have a column here for the hook, okay? And we also have so we do trade-offs too, where we go back and forth as well. So what I basically did, I connected the YouTube API. I was like, use the YouTube API. I want you to analyze our channel and show us what we're doing well and what we're not doing well. And I also want you to compare it to the Diary of a CEO podcast, the Modern Wisdom podcast, and TVPN. Okay. And it's like, okay, so you guys don't open with any hooks. You guys just kind of go right into it. And then you and Neil need to alternate more in terms of kicking it off. And then your classics do well too. So you should bring the classics back. So there's hooks for the classics over here as well. So we're gonna try that format today, because you know AI has slowly been making my content better in terms of getting more views. We'll just kick it off that way. So let's just kick off on one. So, I've been doing some research on these clippers. So one company is paying 650 grand a month just to make short clips, and that's the marketing budget. Okay, so basically, this guy Clavicular, have you heard of this guy?
No,
Apparently, he's been blowing up. So this dude over here, apparently he's like a security guard a few years ago, and then he's been blowing up on short form, and so
he's a clipper now, I'm assuming?
well, he has clippers. He's paying 650 grand for clippers. So to run the campaign. So more than 1,500 clippers work for him, nearly 70,000 clips a month. So you just go back to like the Andrew Tate strategy, right? Where there's going hard on clips.
Wait, I'm confused here. So he's a security guard or was a security guard?
Was a security guard, and he's still young, very young, in his 20s or whatever. But
Okay.
that's how a lot of these kids are generating a ton of views. And I've been working with more and more of these kids, and I'm happy to share my experience as well, because
Yes.
there's good and bad things.
But before we go into your experience working with the kids, the ex-security guard is spending 650,000 a month.
Yep.
Is he a consulting company where he's selling the clips to other people and doing it for companies,
No,
or
he's
is
just a
he
streamer.
okay, so
Yeah.
what does he stream or how's he monetizing other than streaming and maybe sponsors?
I think it's just that. I think that's how a lot of these streamers make money. Well, here's what I haven't really researched as much. Like iShowSpeed, for example, these people, like they do have a lot of money for their age, and I'm just like, how is it that like there's this Aiden Ross person? Like, how do they make all their money, right? I have to imagine a lot of it sponsorships. They probably drive them a lot of them to a community or some type of course as well. That's what I think.
But I think we talked about iShowSpeed on the podcast. I told you I was doing lunch or something with someone like, yeah, iShowSpeed makes 100 million a year. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
nowhere near there, because Mr. Beast doesn't make as much per video as people
yeah,
thought, and he shared some of the. He did a guessing game on X.
yeah.
But when you're looking at the Clippers, I think it's good. I think people, and you and I talked about this in our last week recording session, people should focus on taking these marketing tactics and applying it to businesses like software companies or AI companies or consumer companies. You won't get as many views, but your conversion from viewer to revenue will be much higher.
I run Grok on this one. I use Grok because Grok is pretty on top of the trends. So Clavicular's name is Braden Peters. Okay, so he's 20 years old, streamer. He's a looks maxing influencer,
A
whatever that
what?
means. Well, I think looks maxing here.
Looks
So look up
maxing
looks maxing and then look up retard maxing,
influence.
because Mark Andreessen has been talking about retard maxing. Did I send you that video?
Looks maxing influencers are social media creators who promote the practice of looks maxing, a
Okay.
term originated from male-focused internet subcultures like incels that refer to taking extreme measures to maximize one's physical attractiveness.
Okay.
These influencers, primarily on platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Kick, focus on optimizing facial structure, body composition, and grooming to achieve conventionally attractive or chiseled appearance. What's the other one you want me to look up?
Retard maxing. So we're using the R word. Let me tell you why. So as Neil looks it up. So Mark Andreessen was the one that brought me onto this. So Mark Andreessen's been watching this guy, and this guy just talks about how to be a man. And the whole idea behind retard maxing is just like, if you're gonna go approach a woman and talk to them, don't even think about it, just go. If you're gonna think about like what you're just think about like starting a business, so don't even think about it, just go. Everything's just go. And so what does it say?
So I'm not going to say the term, but it advocates overcoming overthinking, perfectionism,
Yeah.
analysis paralysis, kind of like the stuff you're talking about. It just is like stop overthinking things, just go and do it.
And I think for the most part in our lives, we have been like that.
Uh
I think so. when it comes to entrepreneurship, just go, just start. We're gonna
Yes,
yeah.
I thought you meant you and I overthink, and I'm like, do we really
No, no,
overthink?
no.
I
I'm
think,
just go for the
yeah,
most
we
part.
tend
Don't
to just
wait. Don't
go,
tell me. Just go. Right.
but sometimes we go too much
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
don't think enough.
That causes more problems, but it works more often than not. Like, by the way,
Yes.
when people look at that, it's like that's your greatest strength. That's also your greatest weakness too. Just keep in mind, whatever your greatest strength is, there's a double-edged sword. So let me tell you how he makes his money, Neil. So he's publicly showing about 80 to 100 grand a month from donations from KCIP alone, Kit Creator Incentive Program. In January, he made 110 grand with over 90% coming straight from KCIP. And then he says during his Mog World Order subathon, I guess that was a stream, he was pulling in roughly 20 grand per day. Okay, 20 grand per day, that's 600 grand a month, right?
Yep.
And then he has a paid community, I call it, he has a paid community course. So Clavicular's clan, Formula Clavicular System. He sells monthly access to his self-improvement looks maxing program for about $50 a month. This is a recurring stream on top of streaming. And then he has sponsorships, Young LA, affiliate links, YouTube earnings. So yeah, it kind of makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Like I do think in a sense, people used to say, okay, paid media used to mean Google ads. It does in a sense, but now part of it, I also feel like paid media is this is kind of in a sense you're doing paid media, right? It's more or less you're trying to buy these organic views, and so that's kind of what the system is today. Bless you.
Thank you.
But let me show you this. Bless you again. Okay, so look,
Thank you.
this is the same. So paid media in 2026. So now the concept, Neil, is how are you how are you buying more tokens? Okay. So a part of it is sure you're paying clippers. So if you're paying 1,500 editors to edit and post 70,000 pieces of content, but I also think at the same time, it might mean also buying tokens from like a chat GPT or buying tokens from Anthropic as well, because you need people to maybe edit your clips at more volume, and you can generate more AI clips as well. So I think what's going to happen is you're gonna be doing this clipping thing, but you're also going to be paying for a lot more tokens because you're spending so much on these clips. So I think that's a piece of it.
Yep. All right, let's go with the next one. 10 marketing AI tools we'd pay for even if they cost $1,000 a month.
Okay, here's the hook. So you got to go with the hook, Neil. Read it again.
All right. If these 10 AI tools cost $1,000 a month each, we'd still pay for all of them. Here's why.
Okay, Claude, because I already pay $8,000 a month for myself. So,
All right.
and let me tell you why. We should justify
Yes.
each one. So, the reason for that is I'm able to do so much more with less. Some examples here. Um, One, literally yesterday, Neil, I took my X thread and I said, "Hey, take this X thread and then use the image model and make it into like these slides, and then I can repurpose it for YouTube." Okay, so anything that's design bound now, I can generate instantly. Okay, I'm gonna show you something else real quick, Neil. So I'm gonna Neil can see my screen. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, you should subscribe to us on YouTube. But I have the ability now, Neil. Check this out. Here, I'm gonna pull this up. So look at this. You see this site?
Uh,
This is API for SEO. This is ClickFlow. Okay.
okay.
This landing page. Okay. This is all about the API for SEO. Okay. So you can see there's code. How does it work? The different use cases, the different all this stuff, right? So this landing page, what do you think? Not that bad?
The landing page is not bad.
Okay.
It's a great start. You had to make some adjustments, but this is great to start
Yeah.
with.
And then by the way, it's like I can use it on like a call too. I said to make it like a deck too, right? So if I press usually, if I'm on, yeah, okay. Every time I press space, it's like a deck. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is deployed to a website right now. So my point of saying this is that Neil, what I just showed Neil, I was at the gym this morning. I said, hey, I want to use my I'm talking to my phone right now. I want to use my design.md file for ClickFlow, and I want to make a landing page dedicated API for SEO. Pull the documents from the ClickFlow documents right now and go ahead and spin it up. I want a dark version and I want a light version as well. Go ahead and do it.
And then it does it in a few
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah, that to me, that's end to end. And so for
Yes.
me, this used to take weeks to even get a mock-up done. Now
Not
you can do it a lot
anymore.
faster. Now it's like 90% there. So,
Yeah, the one thing I would adjust on that homepage, and you already know this, the headline.
mhm,
I don't like how it crossed it off
mhm.
because you want it to make sense where they crossed out words and you don't read those
Yeah,
words, or if you
I
do,
agree with that. You know why? When you have the cross out, it makes people think, well, what did you cross out exactly? It kind of there's some distortion there. You want
yes.
it to get to the point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't mind the cross out. It's just more so if you read it without the cross out, it doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
But
Number two.
tool number two, high level. So here's why I love this AI tool. especially if you're a local business. If you're a local business right now, think about it. Like, let's say I own an HVAC or roofing company or a plumbing company. Let's actually use plumbing. I have people calling me, I'm running ads, and what ends up happening? You get leads, very few people follow up, very few people book appointment, and you lose a lot just in that layer. So sure, it can help you with all your ads and stuff like that, but what I really love about High Level is there's a lot of great features, but what I really love, especially for local businesses, it has an AI assistant that screens the call, converses with someone, books it, schedules an appointment based on your availability and when people can get it and what works for them. And now you don't have to follow up with leads, and it works really well.
You've tried it?
Yes.
So it's like a discovery call, and like how complex can it get?
It can get pretty complex
Uh-huh.
depending on how you train it. And when you say I tried it, not for myself, because I don't actually own a local business,
Yeah.
but yes, we have customers in the local space,
Yeah.
and it's really cool.
Cool. Great. Um,
But it comes down to, it's like, what do you feed in? I think this is the biggest problem with AI. I- If you don't feed in the right stuff, your outputs are just crap, no matter what tools you're using.
mhm.
And I think that's a mistake that most companies make. But yeah, that would be tool number two. And especially for smaller businesses, when you think about 1,000 a month, how much more would you spend hiring a person to do that?
My thing alone, I mean, before a year ago, that you're probably talking about if you're talking about offshore, you're probably talking about at least 50, 60 grand. And if you're talking about onshore, probably like we're talking about, 120, 150, 180, depending on experience.
Sure. And even for something simple like having High Level answer your calls, how much do you think that would cost a human?
I think a good human that can also route it and also record everything, I think that good human's worth 120 to 150.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if it's near shore, offshore, maybe a little less. But yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So my next one's going to be Higsfield. The reason I like Higsfield is so Higsfield, it does, just ad creation, video creation, things like that, right? And so look, these are just ads that we've made for a telecoms company. And they really like these, right? And so look, it's just they're motion graphics, whatever. We generate a ton of statics as well. So we took the Higsfield MCP, and we hooked it into our GitHub repo, and that's now allowing us to, from a sales standpoint, we can crank out. I'll be like, "Hey Neil, you work for Mountain Valley Spring. Here's a bunch of ads for you over here. Let me know if you want to talk." And then maybe my follow up is, "Here's 10 more ads for you. Let me know if you want to talk. Hey, your competitor made ads like this. They've been running them for a while. Let me know if you want to talk." You just keep hitting them with new ads over and over. And so this will work for a while, I think, before the rest of the world catches on. So I think in terms of generating new pipeline, in terms of generating new ads, because a lot of the people we talk to, you've seen this as well, is when they come to us, it's like, oh, the bottleneck for us to scaling right now is more creative. It's more creative, or it's more emails. It's more creative. It's more emails. Whatever it is exactly. Higsfield has been pretty good for it, especially now that there's an MCP. You can ask your OpenClaw or your Hermes agent or whatever to just say, hey, look at Neil Patel's NP Digital's ads over here. I want similar versions for them, only the ones that are longest running, assuming that Neil's not a dum dum and he's not just keeping bad ads running. Because the longest ads running are usually the ones that are performing. Quick break. If you're doing AI SEO or content marketing in general, you know what the problem is. The problem is you're spending hours writing yourself, or you're paying agencies lots and lots of money, and you're getting AI slop that sounds just like everyone else. That's why we built ClickFlow. ClickFlow creates production-grade content that actually sounds like you. Plus, it helps you with other areas such as building internal links, creating FAQs, and more. One customer even reported saving 90 plus hours a month just by using ClickFlow. You can get a 14-day free trial just by going to clickflow.com. No more AI slop, just production-grade content that drives traffic and conversions. Back to the show.
Yeah. So number 4, and this one is a free tool, but I would pay $1,000 a month for it. YouTube has something now where they can make your videos, and they've had this for a little bit, but we don't see most companies or creators leverage this. They can make your content adjustable to multiple languages.
Oh, yeah.
And very few people use it. We're seeing good traffic gains from this, from the regions we've been testing it in. It's free, so it doesn't cost $1,000, but I genuinely would pay $1,000 a month for that feature.
Yeah.
I just wish they did more languages, but I believe they're going to keep adding more and
Dude,
more
I've
over
seen my
time.
Instagram reels in Hindi before. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you listened to your stuff in Hindi?
I haven't seen myself in Hindi, but people have sent me my content in Portuguese because I have quite a bit of a Brazilian
Portuguese,
audience.
yeah,
And
Spanish
I was just like,
following.
"Oh, cool." Like, they're screenshotting it, and they're like, "Your voice isn't that bad, it's not for" I'm like, "No, I didn't really create it. They did it
Yeah.
for you."
Number 4, X API. So what
Number
X has
5, 5.
number 5?
You went first.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Number 5, X API. So the reason I like X API now, what they did, Neil, is they've decreased the cost to read a tweet. It used to be a lot more expensive. Now it costs. I think it costs a lot more to if you want to post something using the API with a link to it because they don't want to decrease their reach. Okay, so I think it's like a fraction of a penny now, Neil, to read something. And so what I can do, for example, yesterday I'm looking for more like AI founders in Europe for my AI Global Summit for YPO, right? Even though I said I want to do anymore. So anyway, my point is, I'm like, okay, I want you to find a bunch of tier one, tier two, tier three speakers, list all of them, and then it crafted the messaging, and it was about to send them through my X account. But the whole idea here is you want to hire paid media people, you want to hire these creative people over here. I wanted to hire. You know what happened? These clippers. Once I found out Forbes did like a piece on the clipping company, you know what I did? I reached out to the clipping company. I said, hey, I want to poach all their people, find all the people over here, and then I want to reach out to every single one of them. I have 3 of the kids now, that I'm talking I'm trialing 3 of the kids. They're all kids, like 18, 20 years old. Like, one of them I was talking to yesterday on the phone, he was at his mom's. I could hear his mom in the background, right?
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm like anyway, all that to say is the X API is extremely powerful now, and what I also do with it, I was like, "Hey, OpenClaw, pull from all the latest stuff in AI marketing right now, and then just decide based on what our goals are and what I've been working on, how this fits into what we're doing, how high leverage it should be. Should we be doing it? Because the smartest people are posting on X. So the X API, they've made it even cheaper now. I'd be paying over $1,000 a month for it.
Yeah. The next one on my end, I think this is number 6, is Crazy Egg released personalization feature, or Heathen did. And
Still you too.
yeah, technically it's just him, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Uh, when with the personalization feature, what ends up happening is they have tons of A/B testing data and learnings over the years on what works and what doesn't. You pop in a URL to create variations of any of your pages based on what converts better and what doesn't.
Nice. That's good. So what is Crazy Egg focused on now? Personalization?
Personalization, A/B testing. They released analytics recently too,
Yep.
but a lot of that stuff.
Just for context, Crazy Egg used to be Neil and Heaton's tool. It was more of a heat mapping tool. Now they've done a lot more. It seems like Heaton's very AI pilled now, so he's adding a lot to it.
Yes.
So that's cool. Number 7, yeah. So number 7, if you go to ClickFlow, we actually have an API for it, and we're coming out with a free version for it. So I think there needs to be an API for content creation. It doesn't even have to be ClickFlow. I think there needs to be an API for SEO in general. So the ability to be able to through a command line interface or to be able to have your agents just say, okay, here's all the rankings you have right now using the Uber Suggest API, okay?
Yeah.
And then based on that, you should be creating this content over here, and you should be updating this content over here. You should be thinking about internal linking. To have an API that the agents can access, I think is really important. And so I think really any marketing tool that has an API right now, I just use that one as an example because I was just showing Neil an example of a landing page I made from it.
Cool. Number 8, answer the public. It helps you get a lot more AI traffic. It's really simple. It ends up telling you all the long tail variations that people are searching in AI platforms and LLMs, which is the new type of keywords. People aren't searching head terms like they used to. It's all people typing in sentences. And the cool part is it'll automatically create the content for you. You then go in and modify and adjust it and add in the EEAT. It'll add in the images. It'll automatically publish to your Webflow, Shopify, WordPress, whatever system you are. So you don't even have to do any of that. It'll do the content calendars, create tons of content for you. You can do it in different languages and automatically publish once you approve it.
So just full disclosure for everyone, the last 2 tools are both Neil's and ours. So we
Yeah.
just want to disclose that. So anyway, number 9, last from my end, Hermes. We name ours Hermes because I have the Hermes Paris logo on mine in Slack. So Hermes is basically it's an open source agent. It's very similar to OpenClaw, but it's more reliable from what I've seen. So the problem with my OpenClaw right now is I've made it a Ferrari that has too much on it. So imagine you stack like a bunch of luggage on it. So I keep adding more and more to it. So it's become this monstrosity. And also Ferrari's not a very practical car to drive because you can't really put your groceries in it. You can't really have your family drive in it either. And it probably scratches all the time. I wouldn't know. I don't have a Ferrari. But Bless you, Noah. And so I would say that Hermes is actually way more reliable. It's very fast, and the beauty of Hermes is that it learns as the more you work with it, the better it gets over time, because it's constantly adding skill.md files to it over and over. So I think having a Hermes also be the brain that manages my OpenClaw fleet is very helpful. And what I'm even testing right now is having a Hermes fleet, and so I would for sure pay over $1,000 a month for this.
Yeah, and then the last tool, because Google ended up rolling this into Gemini, is Gemini. But you all know about Nano Banana and all the things that they've done for image and video creation. What I found that works really well in marketing, and this would cost way more money to hire a company to do, is to have a scripted video. Like, do you remember those old D2C style videos that people would put on Facebook and put a storyline and uh, pay a company like Harmon Brothers, like the Squatty
Yeah, yeah,
Potty
yeah, yeah,
videos
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff? You can do those. They still work. We don't see too many people doing them because the problem is when you create them, they're a big hit or miss,
Yeah.
and you don't know if they're going to be a hit. And then you're like, man, I just burned 50 grand, 100 grand on this, and it was a miss.
Yeah.
So then you do it like 5 or 6 times or 10 times, and you create a hit, but you may have burned a $500,000 to $1 million.
Mhm.
Now with Gemini, you can burn like $1,000 and get your hit and have tons of variations. And all you have to do is just come up with the script. The problem we're seeing is people don't want to do it because it takes time to script, but the scripting is the least expensive part. The video creation used to be the most expensive part.
Mhm.
Now you can just do it with AI and Gemini does a great job and it's pennies on the dollar.
Dude, can I give you here? Let me give you a bonus here. This is 11, okay? So check this out. Remember I was just talking about Ferrari versus Camry agents?
Yeah.
So I took my X post yesterday, okay? This is ChatGPT Images 2.0. I think it's better than Nano Banana. So what I'm showing on the screen over here is you have a Ferrari on the left side. It has a bunch of stuff added to the top of it, like long context, guardrails, code, all this stuff, right? And then you have a fleet of Camrys. Toyota Camry is very reliable. I just have a Lexus, which is a Toyota, right? Very reliable. So you go down the list over here. Look, not come on, look at that. You have all this stuff bolt. The temptation is you bolt everything onto one agent. You get a Ferrari agent. It's expensive, it's beautiful, and it's impractical. Great demo, fragile operations, right? Then the business failure mode shows up, right? And then you have this context jam over here. And then what you need is a Camry model for SEO briefs, for CRM cleanup. You want each agent to do its own thing. And so my point of all this, look at this, dude. This is pretty good. All I did, Neil, was I took from a tweet that I wrote, and then I said
Yeah.
use ChatGPT Images 2.0. It cranked it out. And so my point of saying this too is that, to Neil's point, if you're going to do a script, you still have to go with it back and forth and say, ask me clarifying questions, and then it can make the best script for you. And then ideally, you're probably posting scripts that have worked well for you in the past to give it more context to make it even better. But
And just as a heads up, make sure you're not using stuff that can get you sued,
yes, yes,
right? Because with the
I can make a
Ferrari,
YouTube video for this one. Yeah,
yes.
I can't
But
make an ad for this.
no, the Ferrari example, I think you'll get in trouble. Ferrari,
I,
or depending on how it's used.
well, you mean for the ad?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, I can't use it as an ad. Yes, Neil's right. But I would use this in a YouTube video to describe both of them. Yeah,
Totally agree.
yeah,
Yeah, and double check with the lawyer whether you're using it for a YouTube video or ad, because neither Eric or I want the
yeah, yeah,
liability.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because every country has
It's
different
not legal
laws.
advice,
This is
guys.
not legal
Yeah,
advice, and run
and we
everything
like
by a lawyer.
Ferraris. We do like Ferraris.
And we like Camrys.
Yeah,
They're
we do.
both great.
I would personally prefer to drive a Camry. So, but they're
Dude,
both great.
I've had friends pick me up in Ferraris, and they're like, "How cool is this?" I'm like, "Man, it's so hard to get into your car.
Yeah,
You have to like
it,
bend so low."
it's so low, and then it's so loud, and it draws all this attention. I don't want it.
Yeah, and forget even the attention. It's just an uncomfortable ride. Like it's so bumpy. I'm like, they're like, "You're one with the road." I don't want to feel every
No,
bump in the
yeah,
road. LA has a lot of potholes.
yeah, no. Anyway, I mean, your partner had a Ferrari before or a Lambo.
Lamborghini. We used to call him Mike Lambo.
Yeah,
Remember that?
dude. Did we call him Mike Lambo before? I don't
Yeah,
remember. Okay,
it was the
so
guys from War Room who came up with that. I don't know. I'm bringing on the name. Daniel from is it Astrology Answers?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know who
he
that
used to be
is.
part of War Room.
You were in War Room like earlier before I was. So we're talking about this mastermind that Neil used to speak at this event. I was in this mastermind for like a year or two. One of our late friends, Brandon Stapper, and then Yaniv and I were business partners. We were real estate business partners, so we can bring the cost down. So we don't
Oh
have to
yeah,
pay
that's right.
25 grand
Because
a year.
they charge you per business, not
Yeah.
per person.
Well, they charge, but if you come in as partners,
It's
then it's
cheaper.
yeah 25 grand divided by three. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not that's a lot better. I thought it was like 50 grand at one point,
No, but
no?
it got up to 50 grand, and then they started doing, like, Coachella week 1 and Coachella week 2, so they had, like, 2 weekends. It started getting too big, and I think that's why they had I think with a lot of these masterminds, just if you guys ever wanna do one, just understand there's a shelf life on it, and you probably have to redo it again. I just found that it's a lot of work. So, guys, that is it for today. Please let us know what you think about this new format, new-ish format, and we'll see you tomorrow.